International Women's Day!
We're celebrating today with Bellamy Young, and we're showing you how other celebs are celebrating women.
Also today, actor Corey Feldman makes a new strong statement about Michael Jackson.
Lisa Rinna slamming Lisa Vanderpump over a puppy spinoff. We'll tell you what's going on.
Everything's just going to be hitting the whole time.
Musician and YouTube star Mahone telling us his favorite thing about his hot new music.
Plus, Juanita stars Alfre Woodard and Adam Beach are in our studio.
Live today on People Now. Let's go. When do we get an International Men's Day? When do we get a fair shake?
Can you say that on the show?
Yeah, right. Obviously, I'm kidding. Oh, goodness. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to People Now. We are celebrating International Women's Day today, everybody. Yeah. Very excited about that. Here's the face of it right here. Andrea's here. She's going to be joining us back on the show in just a little bit. We're giving a big shout out to the strong and fearless women all over the world who make this day so special in honor of the amazing holiday. We want to know what strong woman inspires you. You can tweet us your answer with the hashtag PeopleNow. Maybe include a little photo or a GIF. You might see it right here on the show. By the way, I want to give a shout out to the powerful women in my life. My mother, who taught me what it means to feel unconditionally loved. She was a strong woman before it was even trendy to be a strong woman on the hashtag world. My wife, so strong and determined, holds our family together. My two little girls, they're only single digits old, and they already control my entire life. Shout out to all the strong women who make me better and who inspire me every day. We'll check in on our question of the day in a little bit, but for now, let's move on to this. We begin with Corey Feldman, a former child star who was a friend of Michael Jackson's. He says that in the wake of the allegations being made against the late pop star in the new documentary Leaving Neverland, he can no longer stand by idly. On Wednesday, Corey appeared on HLN to clarify previous comments that he made in a series of tweets on Monday following part one of the documentary, in which he criticized the film, calling it one-sided. Sharing that it's been an emotional time for him, Corey explained his tweets by telling HLN in part, quote, "You're a kid who has endured sexual abuse, and during those times, I'm looking to somebody like Michael Jackson as a friend." He continued to say, "It comes to a point where, as an advocate for victims, it is impossible for me to remain virtuous and not at least consider what's being said and not listen to what the victims are saying." In Corey's 2013 memoir, Choreograph This, he claims that he had been a victim of sexual abuse. Although the Los Angeles Police Department looked into the claims after Corey filed them in 2017, the case was ultimately dropped due to the expired statute of limitations. Now, Corey, who insists that absolutely nothing inappropriate ever happened between him and Michael Jackson, but he did go on to say this: "I don't want to be perceived as I'm here to defend Michael Jackson, because I can no longer do that. I cannot in good consciousness defend anyone who's being accused of such horrendous things. But at the same time, I'm also not here to judge him because, again, he did not do those things to me, and that was not my experience." That was Corey's quote. Corey apologized to anybody who took his earlier tweets out of context. Now, in regards to Leaving Neverland, Corey admitted that although he watched the first part, it was too emotional and painful, and he couldn't watch all of it, saying the allegations were shocking and disturbing. After his interview with HLN, Corey opened up on Twitter again. He said in part, "This was the hardest interview I've ever done. My heart is with all the victims and the children of MJ who are also victims in all of this." Well, guys, it has been let's move on here, quite a rough season, pun intended, for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills amid all the Puppygate drama. Now Lisa Rinna is coming after Lisa Vanderpump since news broke that the latter may have a Vanderpump Dogs spinoff in the works. Follow me here. In a lengthy statement on her Instagram, Lisa Rinna writes, "I'm a hustler. I make no bones about that. I think you get paid for what you do. So my feeling is if we indeed are servicing a spinoff, we should be paid for it." Rinna went on to clarify that she has no problems with her castmates profiting off their public image. She adds, "I'm so happy for all of us to use this platform for makeup lines, network TV shows, restaurants, charities, clothing lines, fitness empires, you name it. I support these women 100%. But if you are going to use our services without telling us that we are playing out a storyline to launch a pilot for a new show and you don't compensate us extra for that." Well, Rinna then threatened legal action against Lisa Vanderpump, warning her that if this indeed becomes another show, my lawyer will be calling with lots of dollar signs added to the end of that statement. So multiple sources have said that a spinoff centered around Lisa Vanderpump's animal rescue center, Vanderpump Dogs, is in the works. We'll be following that. Puppygate centers around a Vanderpump Dogs puppy that was returned to a shelter by Beverly Hills castmate Dorit and the fallout that followed that incident, including the question of whether Lisa Vanderpump and her employees actually concocted all the drama for a spinoff. You following here? Later in the show, we'll hear from Lisa Vanderpump herself about the possibility of a spinoff show. Stick around for that. Get ready for this. Star of MTV's The Hills, Heidi Montag, defending the show's reboot and response to its lack of diversity by pointing out the different hair colors of the show's leading ladies. When asked by Vogue magazine if she wished the show had more diversity, Montag replied, "We don't all look the same. I mean, Audrina has darker hair. I feel like Misha has darker hair." Maybe she was saying it sarcastically, I don't know. She went on to explain that the show depicts a group of friends from California. She added, quote, "That just happens to be the group that came together, but you know, that's just the way the show was. I have other very diverse friends that are not featured on the show." The Hills' New Beginnings is set to premiere this summer. It's a reboot of the original Hills series that ran from 2006 to 2010 and featured almost exclusively rich, white, young Californians in the cast. As you might expect, Twitter had quite the field day with the comments that Montag made. One user calling Heidi's response, quote, "precisely what you would expect." Meanwhile, another person wondered if she knew what diversity even meant, sharing an Anchorman gif of Ron Burgundy thinking diversity is an old wooden ship. That's my favorite one. Meghan Markle, guys, is celebrating International Women's Day by using her voice to empower other women. The Duchess of Sussex joined a panel discussion Friday that included activists like musician Annie and former Australian Prime Minister Julia Gillard. The discussion focused on obstacles impacting female empowerment around the world. Sitting at the center of the panel, Meghan said at one point, "If there's an injustice and a lack of inequality, someone needs to say something, and why not you?" She added, "We must be global feminists and include men and boys." It was also announced on Friday that Meghan will serve as vice president of the Queen's Commonwealth Trust, in which the Queen is patron and Prince Harry is president. According to Kensington Palace, Meghan's role will be partnering with women and girls in an effort to fund and connect with young leaders. It's a great cause, and female empowerment, by the way, has been something close to Meghan's heart long before she became a royal. 4 years ago, the then Suits star gave an impassioned speech at a UN Women's event in New York City, addressing gender equality by saying in part, "I'm extremely proud to stand before you on this significant day, which serves as a reminder to all of us of how far we've come, but also amid celebration, a reminder of the road ahead." Stick around, guys. We have even more royal news, and we'll be joined live by global women's rights activist Bellamy Young. She's going to be here live a little bit later in the show. All right, David Beckham is also honoring International Women's Day. The former soccer player used Instagram to shout out his wife, Victoria Beckham, and his 7-year-old daughter, Harper, calling them the amazing women in his life. And he posted this candid black and white photo of the two relaxing in a huge field of daisies as they both pick the flowers. Seems very dreamy. The caption reading, "Today we celebrate International Women's Day. I'm so blessed to have these amazing women in my life. They inspire me every single day." It's really sweet. Following that photo was a slideshow of even more photos, those including another candid photo of his wife and daughter, a photo of him and his mother Sandra, and a classic black and white photo of him cozied up with his former Spice Girl. Very sweet throwback there. All right, here's what you should know about International Women's Day. It's a day to celebrate the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women, and this year, the theme is Balance for Better. The 2019 initiative is to continue building gender equality, raising awareness of discrimination, and to just continue celebrating the many achievements of women. There's already been a stream of shout-outs from celebs paying tribute to women everywhere. First up here, Emma Watson. She shared this on Instagram, showing her looking happy and carefree. Her caption reads, "Whether you're marching, dancing, rising, resisting, protesting, striking, uniting, or celebrating, wishing you all a wonderful International Women's Day." Miley has also joined the celebration to pay tribute to some of her favorite women. She shared photos of her with actress and political activist Jane Fonda, a photo of her and Beyonce singing on stage together, a picture of her posing with Joan Jett of Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, a photo of her posing with Cyndi Lauper as well, and an endearing photo of her with the one and only Ariana Grande. Great slideshow, by the way. Really amazing pics. The day's young. We're going to be tracking along with all the love and the tributes on the gram and on Twitter, coming from celebs and everyone else. By the way, how nice to have some positive energy on Twitter today, building people up for a change. And again, happy International Women's Day, everyone. Shout out to all the ladies. And now, let's get into some Star Treks.
Star Treks with one reality star who's getting brutally honest about her personal life. Lisa Vanderpump is opening up about the grief she struggled with last year after the death of her brother and how she's coping today. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Vanderpump Rules star revealed she almost dropped out of Housewives because of the pain she was going through. Watch.
I did talk to Bravo and Evolution and said it would probably be for the best for me if I didn't come back to Housewives this year. I struggled through Vanderpump Rules, which was maybe easier because it's a work situation and it doesn't delve into your personal life so much. With the help of counselling, grief counselling, and, you and Gigi and Ken, and antidepressants, which I'd never taken a pill in my life, anything like that, and I'd never been to counselling or any therapy, but with everything combined and time, I'm in a much better place.
Lisa did return to the show this season, but she's been getting a lot of flack amidst the oh-so-scandalous Puppygate drama. Now, looking back, she told us whether coming back was the right decision after all.
I just had such a hard time in my personal life. I probably wasn't strong enough to do the show. I've dealt with the whole cast against me on 3 occasions. But this year I just wasn't the same person, and I make no apologies for it because that's just where I was in my life. But I'm in the show. I'm in an awful lot of it. Some parts of it I'm not in.
With Lisa's new Vegas restaurant, fans have been speculating that she may launch a new show, so we asked her, could it happen? Take a look.
I don't think right now I could possibly handle another show. I was fine with Vanderpump Rules, but doing Housewives and opening Tom Tom and dealing with my personal life, which a lot of problems arise emotionally, and when something tragic happens in your life, it was probably a little too much for me, and I should have taken the year off, as Andy said, in retrospect. So I don't think another show about Vanderpump Rules, that's a lot to deal with, 25 episodes. But maybe another show about the dog rescue center. I think there's definitely something there.
I would watch a show like that. All right, moving on to this. We are so excited because Captain Marvel, the 21st film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, comes out today. And all week, we've been bringing you the movie stars to get you just as pumped. Earlier this week, we learned how training to become pilot-turned-superhero Carol Danvers changed Brie Larson's life. She said it taught her how to push herself, stand her ground, and value her voice in a way she never did before. Now, her co-star Gemma Chan's training was equally as intense, and she told us she found herself doing one thing in particular she never expected.
I started doing kickboxing and boxing drills, just so that I'd be able to handle the choreography that we learnt later on. And then I also started doing kind of sniper school training, which is, it's mad. I mean, it is such a bonus of this job when you get to learn a completely new skill that you just would never expect to be able to, to have in your normal life. I definitely didn't feel like myself. It's a full-on transformation. I think I had the earliest call times. Like, I was having to go to work at like kind of 2:45 a.m. That, it's a whole process of several layers of airbrushing to do that. You can't really sleep. Like, I would start to doze off, and then you'd get like a blast of cold air because they had to spray inside my nostrils and in my ears. I couldn't even really read. Like, my hands had to be sprayed. And I couldn't have headphones in because there was nothing I could really do.
Sounds very intense. So, of course, we couldn't talk to Gemma without getting a little scoop on what she hopes for the Crazy Rich Asians sequel. Here's what she said.
I can't wait. There's so much amazing material in Kevin's books. They could go any kind of way they want to, really. So, if they want to delve into Astrid's, Paris years, I'm not averse to shooting in Paris for a bit.
Samuel L. Jackson reprises his role of Nick Fury in the movie. And fun fact, he and Brie Larson have actually worked together multiple times in the past. So he gave us a little insight into their relationship.
I just love working with Brie. Brie's a very, very accomplished actress who can work in any genre, as we're seeing right now. And over the course of the films we've done, we've talked about a lot of different things. We talked about what this was going to be when she got to it, even before I knew that I was going to be there. She was like, well, kind of talking to me about it, but I don't want to do it unless you're in it. And I said, well, I'll do it if you're not in it, but I'll do it. I was glad that she had the job, and it made it easier because we have spent so much time together, and we know how to create rapport between the two of us.
Now, this movie makes Brie Larson the first female superhero to lead a Marvel movie, which is pretty amazing. But there's one other iconic female movie character that Brie has been dreaming of playing since she was a little kid. Watch this.
I wanted to be Princess Leia. Yeah, that was my dream. I actually had a shirt that was way too big for me that I held on to forever because I was convinced they were going to do a movie where they needed like a young Princess Leia, and I was going to audition for it, and that was the shirt I was going to wear. I had it in my closet for probably a decade.
All right, guys, stay with us. Austin Mahone is back with brand new music. He tells us his favorite part about the new album and reflects on his past with Camila Cabello. We're excited for that. Plus, we're joined live by Alfre Woodard and Adam Beach, talking all about their new movie, Juanita, and so much more.
There we are. A letter from Prince Albert.
It's official. It happened. Queen Elizabeth is on the gram. Is she becoming an influencer here? I don't know.
She might be. We are loving it. Here to tell us about that and so much more is our royal correspondent, Imogen Lloyd-Webber. Hello, Imogen.
Hello, good to see you.
Great to see you, too. This is a little behind-the-scenes peek at Queen Elizabeth actually posting her very first post on Instagram. We'll get to how this made history in a little bit, but first, what exactly did she post?
Yeah, she was at the Science Museum and she posted a letter written to her great-great-grandfather, Prince Albert, in 1843 by Charles Babbage about his invention of the analytical engine upon which the first computer programs were created by Ada Lovelace, a daughter of Lord Byron.
So not exactly a selfie.
Yeah,
and it was
though.
It was posted to the royal family's official Instagram account, which has 4.5 million followers. It was set up back in 2013 to share images and content of Queen Elizabeth and her family at work.
Nice.
Yeah. No, she's obviously the first English monarch to ever be on social media, so it's a pretty big deal here. I mean, why are we seeing the royal family embrace Instagram, Twitter, and so on?
So for the royal family to survive, it has to adapt over time. It modernizes, but is never modern. So therefore, it's no big surprise that they've gone a deep dive into social media. Most senior members of the royal family don't have personal social media. Meghan famously deleted hers.
I remember that.
Probably the most high-profile one is Princess Eugenie. She's got sort of Instagram, and she's often
still
on
doing
that.
her thing out
Yeah. The Queen, though, is 93 next month. Gets this. I was doing a deep dive for you guys today. Allegedly, she has a personal Facebook.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, like a secret one.
Probably just looking at horses.
Keep up on keep up on what all these people are doing.
She also texts from a very secure phone. I mean, she's 93 next month. It's amazing. My granny's 96, doesn't text. And she's also got an iPad, allegedly.
That is fascinating. Now, and you mentioned Meghan, and Harry and Meghan obviously have had this huge bit of influence.
Yeah.
Could her move to Instagram have something to do with their influence? The younger royals pushing her to do it, perhaps.
You know, Americans have this phrase, bless your heart. I'm going to use this phrase on you, bless your heart. It's like got that British sarcastic edge. I mean, here's the thing. The Queen was already on the case, Jeremy. She sent her first email in 1976 at an engagement at a military base.
Wow.
The Science Museum, where she did that Instagram, was also where she sent out her first tweet in 2014.
So she's ahead of the game.
She's ahead of the game. And look, at the end of the day, she married Prince Philip, who was incredibly progressive. She saw her son marry Diana, who's all about making the monarchy more approachable and accessible. She's kept the monarchy going since 1952. She knows what to do to evolve. So Meghan, a little piece, perhaps, Jeremy?
Of influence,
A little bit.
But I wouldn't go overboard. All right.
I'm still waiting for the selfies. But okay, switching gears here. Today is International Women's Day. Meghan Markle is celebrating by being named the Vice President of the Queen's Commonwealth Trust. That sounds pretty high profile here. So what does that mean for her?
Absolutely, and it's the Queen bringing her in. The Queen is patron of the trust. Harry is president, so Meghan will be vice president. They're supporting her husband. The Commonwealth is made up of 53 member states covering 2.4 billion people across the world. So it's a big job for Meghan.
Yeah, she also celebrated by serving on a panel discussion with some famous faces. Who was on this panel with her?
Yeah, so she's the first royal who's a self-declared feminist, as we know, and on the panel was musician and activist Annie Lennox, model and activist Adwoa Aboah, and former Prime Minister of Australia Julia Gillard.
Oh, wow, okay.
And Meghan said this, it was very interesting, and I quote, "It is said that girls with dreams become women with vision. May we empower each other to carry out such vision, because it isn't enough to simply talk about equality, one must believe it, and it isn't enough to simply believe in it, one must work at it. Let us work at it." together.
Look, I am always touting Meghan, but I really think she's coming into her own in this kind of role, right?
Absolutely.
And she's having these powerful moments for very important things. Another little piece of the trip, she was part of this meaningful initiative called We Day.
Yeah.
12,000 students and teachers were all coming together for that. Let's take a look at Harry's inspirational speech at this event. Watch.
To be amongst all of you progressive, motivated, open-minded change makers is what gives me hope for the future. Your optimism is inspiring. I love you too. I'm now going to try and drag my wife on stage.
And the crowd goes wild. What is this initiative all about?
Okay, so this encourages young people to be positive change makers in their communities, and Harry's wide-ranging speech touched on mental health issues, climate change, activism, and also handling social media. It included one of Meghan's favourite quotes from Martin Luther King Jr. "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that." Harry, in his capacity as president of the Queen's Commonwealth Trust, champions, funds and connects young leaders who are leading social purpose ventures around the world by giving them a platform that both funds their work and shares and amplifies their ideas.
Yeah.
All right.
Stuff.
Yeah. Also this week, Prince William and Kate Middleton stepped out on a rainy Wednesday in Blackpool.
It was raining.
Yeah, that's a seaside town over 200 miles north of London. So what brought them up there?
They learned firsthand how some families in Blackpool have been living in deprived housing and how the seaside town is working to flip the situation. One house they actually went into, the walls were covered in black mould and graffiti with debris littering the floor. They had to walk on planks to avoid dangerous rotting floorboards. There's water coming through the ceiling, so quite a change from the palace. Let's put it that way.
You can see a lot of what you're talking about there. Really, really dramatic photos.
And there was a slight breach of protocol with one of Prince William's interactions, right? What happened?
Yeah, I love all this. One royal fan called him Will. She apologised, but he said, she shouldn't worry.
Oh,
William,
my goodness.
I know.
How dare her?
William has actually previously expressed his lack of fondness for these sort of formal interactions. November last year at Centrepoint, those attending were given a laminated card on protocol for both, dressing William and
here's
Kate.
how it should all go.
And that's all about how if you meet them, when you first meet them, you say Your Royal Highness, and then after that you dress them as Sir or Ma'am, as in ham, not in farm.
I would mess
all
that
of that
up so badly, Imogen. I would ruin it.
Well, you would. Even though I've been teaching you for 4 years, you would ruin it. But here's the thing, William heard about this at lunch and sort of laughed and sort of said, I think we need to get on that. So he's not so into that degree of protocol.
Of course. I think they're realists about the whole thing and the times and everything else.
Absolutely.
Do you see him actually blowing up? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm so mad.
Well, the other piece of it is, look, William and Kate are parents, right? That'll bring anybody down to earth. They're kind of mom and dad goals, let's be real, for me anyway. They're very involved with their kids' lives. Prince William revealed the one dad task you should never ask him to do. Talk to us about this.
Yeah, so on a visit to a Blackpool park, William joked with a member of the Dads for Life charity, never tried to do a ponytail, nightmare.
Oh, really?
No, he then went on to say that he actually could do a ponytail on Charlotte, but no more. He said he didn't have enough hair to practice on. I mean, he's getting a bit bald there, if you can see. Don't love those Brits. They sort of self-deprecate before you can get at them. We all know that Kate's very good at braiding, though. We saw her show that off last week in Northern Ireland.
The kids, look at.
How are you with the kids' hair?
I was going to say, I'm actually really
You're always
good.
doing little crafts with them.
Yeah, do little crafts and stuff, but I mean, with the hair, I can do a ponytail. I can't really braid. It's too much.
You know what, practice makes
you're with
perfect.
William.
Jeremy, you can work on it. Wait, before we go, it's your 4-year anniversary,
4-year
right?
anniversary.
Congratulations, you two working together.
Been doing this.
Amazing.
The royal record.
Are you sick of him yet, Imogen?
Well, I only see him once a week.
That's actually the
Put up with
perfect
him every day, Andrea.
the perfect dose. Don't ask Andrea. Thank you for being here. It's great to see you. All right, guys, let's check in on this question of the day in honor of International Women's Day, which we're loving. We've been asking you what strong woman inspires you in your life.
All right, one gift we just have to show. We saw this gift come through. I like this a lot. It's our BG. Yeah,
That's
Ruth
a good
Bader
one.
Ginsburg.
All
Yeah.
right, in the comments, Betty says, my late great mother, she was the epitome of a strong woman. Absolutely.
And Karen agrees, saying her mother and grandmother.
Lisa says, my mother, my sisters, my friends, and some badass coworkers of mine. Also, I will always give Michelle Obama props.
You have to.
Yeah, right, all right. Keep sending them in. We're going to get to more of those later, but for now, we move on to this. Take a look.
We do have the herb omelette with andouille, sausage, and a croissant.
Croissant sounds good, but what I really would like is some regular whole wheat toast with my fried eggs and bacon.
Sounds good to me, too. In the new Netflix movie, Juanita, Alfre Woodard plays a nurse who's fed up with her life and decides to jet off to Butte, Montana. There she meets a few characters, including a kind restaurant owner played by Adam Beach, who shows her a whole new way to live. And joining us now, stars of the movie, Alfre and Adam. Thanks for being here.
Hello.
Thank you.
Well,
It's great to see you
let's start
both.
with Happy International Women's Day, right?
You know, every day is, but let's all say it at the
Let's
same
say it
time.
at the same time.
Let's be
Right,
clear,
yeah.
every day is. But it's kind of fitting that you have this role, someone that wants to take charge of their life. Have you screened this movie with your girlfriends yet?
No, as a matter of fact, it drops today, which is very fitting. But we've had a screening with family and friends. Not only our girlfriends, our wives and significant others, but our guys are loving it too. My 25-year-old son, of course, he just put a coat over his head last night at our love scene.
Oh, yeah, couldn't take
My
that.
children went berserk, and they said, hey, I'm the one that gave you all the information in the first place.
What do you hope that, hope that obviously guys take stuff from this too, but being International Women's Day, what do you hope women do take away from this film?
We have a tendency to put ourselves last in the order of taking care of things. And I think women do that because we feel like, you know, we'll be okay, we'll manage. So we put ourselves last. And I hope young women and girls see it and understand that it's not being selfish, but when you're putting your mate, your friend, whoever, you know, making sure that they're taken care of, don't forget yourself, because you can't give somebody something that you haven't already given yourself.
It always blows me away sometimes when there seems to be a reaction from guys that it's almost like there's some fear or weakness in a man to acknowledge that a woman is strong. What is that all about? Women are literally holding my life together. You know what I mean? That's not hard to admit, is it? Fellow man?
I'd like to say we are definitely the weaker of, but when you kind of join forces and respect the strength in women, it makes us stronger, because there's a compassion they have that we lack. Everybody has this theory that women freak out and don't control their emotions, and we're the guys who are...
I'm a mess 2 to 3 nights a week.
Exactly.
Adam, let's talk about this a bit. How would you describe your character's relationship with Juanita?
Juanita brings love to my life.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
I like that.
Yeah. Alfre, your husband, Roderick Spencer, wrote this movie. And it's crazy to me that he wrote a part for you to have this fantasy with someone like Blair Underwood. How did that come about? He was totally fine doing that?
As a matter of fact, you know, he adapted the book from Sheila Williams' Dancing on the Edge of the Roof. And when you adapt something, you need to find a way in, because you can't shoot a novel. So you need to focus on a particular aspect. The first thing he came up with, he says, okay, Juanita is, you know, she's low person on the totem pole in American society, working class woman of color, but she still has a fantasy life. Blair Underwood is a fantasy lover.
You're like, babe, I knew I loved you for a reason.
Wait, and he's trifling. That was the thing.
Okay, right.
Like, working woman can't get a break. So he had to call Blair. He says, if Blair doesn't agree to do it, we can't do it. He called Blair. Blair was totally game to be in his tighty-whities.
That's incredible. Now, you two have been married for over 30 years, correct?
Almost 40.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And so, he knows you very well. He knows that you don't want to be playing, a very subservient role. You want to play the hero. You want to play someone that's pursuing. I love that it's like such a strong character. Do you guys have those conversations a lot?
No, we don't have those conversations because we don't have to.
Yeah.
My husband is probably more of a real feminist than I am, so I wouldn't be sleeping with him if he wasn't. But yeah, we know each other like that. So
that's great. Adam, was it nice to kind of lean into the Native American heritage for this and have that piece play in?
For me, that's who I am. So everything I do brings that to the film. What I like about the journey of this film is that we're represented as just regular people that happen to partake in the journey of Juanita. We're not a backdrop. We're not a plot line. It's just she happens to find our lives and we live together. It's a real nice love story.
Like this is just who these people are.
But I think that's what happens in life. People say, oh, they're trying to have diversity, so remove that. But the thing is, life is diverse. Everyday life is diverse. And if you don't see it on screen, then somebody had to really focus to make it not diverse.
Yeah, and people, when they saw the cultural side being introduced in the film, everybody there was really surprised at how beautiful it is and what it encompasses and what you can get out of it. Everybody left happy.
That's really great.
Alfred, we just had Lacey Chabert. You might know her from Mean Girls or 17 Hallmark movies, as we know she's done a lot. She actually said that you gave her a piece of advice that stuck with her for her life until now about being present and in the moment. Do you remember giving her that advice?
I do. It's so interesting because when you say things, you forget about it, but yes, I do. And you know what? It's always coming back to you because you need to hear it again.
And from your perspective, to have other actresses looking at, like, obviously you're making an impact with the work you're doing, but then the people you're working with to bring you back up, and you know, someone like her that's worked with many, many people, you were right on the tip of her tongue when who's impacted you the most. How does that make you feel?
Like I said, even if I'm working with a 6-year-old person, you don't turn into Picasso when you're 21.
Right.
They're an artist. They're my colleague. And so I am learning from them, and I might say something just because I've been on the road longer. I'll say there's a pothole here, there's one there. But we're in constant process of learning, so it makes me feel like whatever I need to know is going to keep coming back to me.
All right. Very good. I love that.
All right, well, we can't let you go without a little game. Are you ready? So it's a Juanita-themed game called Guess That Getaway, because you guys travel a lot in the film. So we're going to show you a few scenic cities, perfect for picking up and jetting off to one day. All you have to do is guess where they are.
Okay.
So Guess That Getaway. We begin with...
Are there prizes?
We'll see at the end.
Yes,
We will
there
see.
might be really excellent prizes.
First, let's see how you do, and then we'll talk prizes. Let's begin with this. Take a look.
First place, Guess That Getaway. We're going to... Where is this?
It looks like Miami Beach.
Nice. Listen for the sound. Ding, ding, ding. Yes, that was Miami Beach. So far, so good. Moving quickly down the list. Next up.
One.
There they are.
There's a bridge.
There's a bridge.
It's water. It's still...
Looks
a
like
bridge.
St. Louis. No,
it's not.
Not close. Not even geographically.
It's in Asia.
I'm gonna give you a West Coast hint.
What?
It's in the West Coast.
A hint?
Portland, Oregon, everybody.
All right.
yeah,
Let's cue the next one. Cue the next city. Guess That Getaway.
Guess That Getaway. And 3, 2.
What is that?
Where is that?
Oh my God, Sydney. There's the opera
Now,
house.
Sydney,
Nice.
Australia. Ding,
Okay.
ding, ding.
We have another one.
Final one.
Final
Two
one.
more. Sorry.
Where is this?
That is. That looks like. Is it? My goodness. Is it Parliament? Is it? It's Brit. It's.
Well, it's over there.
In that area.
Maybe they like a little spring, like like a Irish Spring. It was a hint. It was
Oh, that's Trinity College.
Dublin, Ireland,
Yeah,
everybody.
And that was Trinity.
Trinity.
wasn't it? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Final one.
Okay, this is actually the final
And then we'll
one.
talk about the prizes.
All right, where is this? Guess That Getaway.
Might be a little more close to home.
Gets That Getaway. Okay, there's a dome.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like Winnipeg.
Wait,
Manitoba.
is that Richmond?
No.
Topeka, Kansas.
Wow.
Far,
Never
though.
been there.
Well,
You guys did well, though.
Oh, good.
You got a couple.
There's really good news.
What?
There was never going to be a prize, even if you got every one of them right, so you've lost nothing. Isn't that great?
Prizes we can wrap the interview.
Alfred, Adam, thank you so much for
Thank
stopping
you.
by. We love playing games with you and talking about all these things. Guys, watch Juanita streaming on Netflix, available right now. Check it out.
Don't be a hot, sweaty mess.
Oh, goodness. That feels amazing.
Just close your eyes. I can see John. He's wearing some white shorts. His shirt's open. And he's fanning you with his foot. That's where this breeze is coming from.
There we go. That's a clip from the TLC special Drag Me Down the Aisle, which premieres this Saturday.
Now, we sat down with 2 of the 4 drag queen hosts, Alexis Michelle and Bibi Zahara Benet, to discuss the show and what it was like bringing big drag ambition to small-town Pennsylvania and helping bride-to-be Emily get ready for her special day.
Both Alexis and Bibi are alums of RuPaul's Drag Race. Bibi won the first season, and Alexis finished top 5 in season 9. We asked the duo what they learned from RuPaul and how they used it in this show. Take a look.
RuPaul's main message is always about spreading love. By leading with love and loving yourself, that's sort of the best message you can put out into the world. And that's really what we're doing for these women, for these brides. You deserve this. This is your moment. It's okay to be in the spotlight because it's your wedding day. And Lord knows we love the spotlight.
No, but it affirms all of that for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think that there's nothing wrong with taking your rightful place in the spotlight when it's coming from that internal light, that internal love.
And loving yourself was an idea that these fabulous wedding planners really needed to instill in bride-to-be Emily. At the beginning of the special, she does not feel beautiful. She's just weeks away from saying I do.
Alexis and BB were not having that. Here's how they sprung into action. Watch.
When Emily came down the stairs, her body language said it all.
Yeah, it did.
Her face did too, but her body language told us that I don't feel good. I don't feel special in this. We were all a little shocked to sort of like, well, how did you arrive at that dress if you felt that way?
How did you settle with it? Yeah.
And right away, I think we all felt like, well, we have to try to do something because like, I can't send a bride down the aisle with, shoulders down like this and tears were streaming down her face. It was a hard moment to watch, but I'm glad we were there for her.
And it's not always the wedding day. What if you never get married?
You still need to be happy every day and
That's
figure
what
out
I'm
a
saying.
way.
So that's why I always say it's always a work in progress. You always have to work on yourself and work on who you are and really be able to take some time to celebrate you.
Such a positive outlook there. Now, while Alexis and BB are strong, confident queens, they did not always have the highest sense of self. It took them years of drag and learning how to self-love to get where they are today.
And they gave us some tips for anyone to look in the mirror and love themselves through the spirit of drag. Check it out.
I think it's a daily struggle. I think that if anyone tells you that I just love myself every day, I think that that's a lie. I think as humans, we are also flawed and we have self-doubt, And I think it's affirmation. I get up every morning, I look at myself in the mirror and I would affirm myself that yes, I'm beautiful, I belong here, I have a gift to share and I have a purpose to live. When you tell yourself that all the time, then you're able to go out to the world and live it and share it as well.
It's definitely a journey. Each day can be different. And actually, BB's one of my biggest inspirations in this because I feel like she really lives that. That's really what we're trying to, to empower these women in doing on their wedding days. Drag is all about celebrating women and celebrating femininity, that sort of daily self-care, that daily self-affirmation. It shouldn't just be exclusive to your wedding day. It's an everyday practice.
Make sure to check out the TLC special Drag Me Down the Aisle this Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern on TLC. Now take a look at this. There you go. You're going to be jamming to this song. Woo! It's so good. That was a little bit of Austin Mahone's new music video for his single, Why Don't We? He's a musician. He's a YouTuber who found fame back when he was just a wee little teenager.
And now he's 22, all grown up, and basically grew up alongside his fans. And guys, this is a big deal. It's his first new release in the U.S. in 3 years.
We sat down with Austin. He shared his favorite thing about his brand new music.
I think my favorite thing about the new album is that every song on there is going to be up-tempo. It's going to have a dance feel, so there's not going to be like a slow part where it's like, let me skip this one. Like everything's just going to be hitting the whole time. And like I said, new style of music. This is something that I haven't really experimented with before. So I know I love it. I know my fans are going to love it. So I think, the whole world's going to enjoy it too.
We also asked Austin about his dream artist to collab with, and it might surprise you. Take a look.
I mean, of course I'm going to say like, Drake. I love Drake. I love Ariana Grande. I heard her album was fire. But I think all time I would want to collaborate with would be George Strait on the country side.
Really?
Ooh.
I grew up in Texas and I love George Strait so much, and I would think it'd be cool to do like a collab. I shared a shot with George Strait on my 21st birthday.
Really?
Not like we shared one shot, but
No. You like had a shot, with him.
Like we both had a shot together for his. He was doing a Vegas. What do you call those?
Like a showcase or whatever, like a residency?
Residency, yeah. So
yeah.
he was doing a bunch of those in Vegas, and I popped in for my 21st, and backstage he was there with his new liquor that he was promoting, and we just took a shot of it together. And that was like a legendary moment that I'll never forget.
Oh man.
Is he one of your favorite country artists?
Yeah, for
Were
sure.
you nervous to meet him?
Yes, I acted like a fool.
Did you?
Yeah, I definitely embarrassed myself.
It's like cringeworthy the
Embarrassed my
entire
mom
time.
too, because I saw him and I was like, just bringing in George. Instead of like, hey, nice to meet you, sir, like a real country hello, like I just gave him a nice big hug. I was like, George, you're my hero. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
All right, guys, so you might also remember that Austin was linked with Camila Cabello way back when people first reported on their relationship in October 2013. But by November 2014, Camila had confirmed their split.
But since Camila is doing so well these days and they seem friendly, you know, we had to check in on that. Here's what Austin had to say.
I just remember going on tour with Fifth Harmony and all of them, and you know, just every day waking up to do a show and seeing them, and like I just remember having like the biggest crush on her, like seeing her getting ready for like rehearsals and all that, and I'm just like, man, like, I don't even know what to do right now. Like,
yeah, right.
I was just a young kid, like, you know, just on tour, like being surrounded by so many beautiful girls, like Fifth Harmony, you know.
Right, yeah, like, like dream come true.
Yeah, dream come
overwhelming.
True. Like, I'm living it right now. Like.
And do you still keep in touch with her at all?
Not too often, but she's doing her thing. Like, she's absolutely killing it right now. She's so successful, and you know, big ups to her.
Yeah.
Speaking of like big female artists, you opened on tour for Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
When you think back at that time, what's the memory that kind of sticks out? I feel like you have to pinch yourself with some of these things.
Like literally so many things. Like when I think about it, I'm like, wow, like I've done so many amazing things. Just being on the tour itself with her, like getting to see her backstage and see her process, and her giving me advice, telling me to keep, you know, my family close and my core group close, because that's really the most important thing at the end of the day, because they're gonna keep you in check and tell you if you're looking crazy or acting up. So that's probably the best piece of advice that I've gotten.
Gotta be some fun memories with T Swift.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we were feeling pretty inspired by Austin's new single, Why Don't We, which is out now, so we decided to play a quick either-or game to get to know him a little better. Take a look. If someone said, why don't we? Go to the beach or go to the mountains? What's your answer?
I'm always going to the beach. Every time.
Beach guy. Yeah. Why don't we hit the club or Netflix and chill? What are we doing?
Hit the club.
Hit the club?
All right. Why don't we do ab day or arm day?
Why don't we do both?
Gotta choose
Right
one.
answer. I like that.
Fine.
Why don't we make the, okay, here we go. Why don't we make the first move or let the girl make the first move?
Why don't we make the first move?
Boom.
Yeah. Why don't we adopt a dog or adopt a cat?
I'm gonna say, why don't we do both for that too?
Okay.
I love dogs and cats, and I've had both at the same time, so.
There you go. Good answers. Thank you for being here,
Thank
man.
you.
Thank you.
It's really good to see you.
Yeah.
Congrats on everything.
All right, we've been talking about it all day. Today is International Women's Day, a day to celebrate the social, economic, and cultural achievements of women around the world. And what better way to commemorate this special day than with global women's rights activist, actress Bellamy Young. Bellamy, thanks for being here.
So good to see you.
Yes.
It's been a little while. We're really excited to have you back. Let's talk about this. You partnered with CARE. You traveled to Rwanda. How is the country moving to a better place regarding girls, regarding women living there?
Oh my goodness. Well, you know, in 94, 95, they were in the midst of a terrible genocide. And by the time it gets to 2020, they will have transformed themselves into a middle-income country. So change there
It's remarkable.
is embedded
and really
in their,
actually a short period of time when you consider...
Such a short period of time. And Paul Kagame, who helped them during the genocide, is now their president. And he embedded gender equality into their new constitution. For pragmatic reasons, there were no more men after the genocide. Wow. So all children have to go to school, not just boys. Girls can't get married till they're 21, so they get a chance to be a woman before they're a wife. 30% representation in the Rwandan parliament has to be female. They actually lead the world in representation, female representation in parliament. 63% are women, and they have pay equity. Wow. So they're doing it right. They're really rebuilding. And CARE, I'm an ambassador for an organization called CARE this year, and what the Rwandan government is implementing at a macro level, CARE is able to do at a grassroots level by programs like Village Savings and Loan or Safe School for Girls or programs that deliver marriages. They help them deliver themselves out of domestic violence. It's
really
impressive.
empowering. Yeah.
Incredible.
And you got to meet these women. And can you tell us a little bit about meeting the women? And I know there's one that sticks out in particular.
You know, not a day goes by that I don't think about. I met a woman named Bridget, who was a graduate of their Village Savings and Loan program. And Bridget, 5 years ago, had no access to any money, had to ask her husband for a few francs to buy soap. She started one of these programs. There are about 20 women. They come together, they pool their money, they dream, and they lend each other money to start these very small entrepreneurial endeavors. She wanted 5 chickens. She got 5 chickens. She managed them so well, she paid it back immediately. 5 years later, she now has 1,000 chickens.
Wow.
She gleans 850 eggs a day. She also has a vegetable farm. She employs 3 people.
Life completely changed.
Yeah. Utterly. And it's through transformational change that, of course, CARE helped implement, but she did it herself.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. Fans follow along with you, your career, all these things going on. The juxtaposition of your life as a Hollywood star to what you experienced there must have been, I would imagine, jarring to some degree. How did this change you?
Well, irrevocably. Rwanda is such a special place in general because because of the genocide, everyone lives so mindfully. They're so accountable in every moment. But specifically, getting to work with CARE reminds me that we're all in charge of making our lives and the lives of everyone on the planet better, and everything is we are all capable. Even when we think we are completely powerless, there are people who want to help, and there are ways we can help ourselves. So it was completely transformational for me.
Well, guys, everyone watching, you should check that organization out and follow along on what's going on there. Thank you for sharing that part. Let's talk about this.
Yes.
You were a guest star Wednesday night in the episode of Whiskey Cavalier with the former Scandal co-star Scott Foley. Explain this. You got the role because you ended up in someone's Insta story. What is the deal?
Marika, have you met Scott Foley's wife, Marika
Yes,
Dominic?
yeah.
So she's amazing.
Really funny.
Force in her own right. I was on hold for another project. I couldn't do any work. I was going to follow my sweetheart's a percussionist. He had a European tour. I was going to sort of be a groupie and follow him around. And
Which sounds dreamy, by the way.
Good enough. But then I thought, my friend Scott Foley's got a whole house in Prague. I've got to start there. And Marika Insta-storied our sort of auspicious first night out on the St. Charles Bridge. And Bill Lawrence said, "Is Bellamy Young in town? Would she want to do an episode?"
Oh, wow. That's how it happened.
Marika got me a job.
And then what was it like, the experience being back in front of the camera with him? What was that like?
It was just the best. It was also sort of surreal because it was his first episode. They'd just gotten picked up. We were the first scene, just me and Scotty on the Charles Bridge at sunup with a drone and 200 extras. And it was literally like storybook. There's the castle on the hill and like just everything was magical. I honestly forgot anybody was going to get to see it because we had such a good time.
And I love you call him Scotty. The whole thing, it's like this family from the time that that Scandal was happening. That cast, I remember there being talk of a group text between the cast.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder, is that still going?
Totally. I got a job yesterday. Everybody's been so nice to me about it. Usually it's dirty or it's funny, but yesterday there was kindness.
Okay, well, what was the reaction when they heard that you would be doing this thing with Scott?
Well, they were so happy because we all are like ridiculously supportive of each other. Like it's been such a joy. But then we'd send them pictures from Prague and they got a little, they were like,
sorry, guys.
Wait a minute now.
We were talking before that Scott used to make everyone laugh by doing fake fart noises. Did he do that, Whiskey Cavalier?
No, because he was on his good behavior. They don't know him.
They don't know him yet. Get ready, everybody. The real man is on the way. Your character on Scandal, obviously so iconic in Shondaland and that whole universe. The crossovers have happened. Could we see Melly making an appearance on How to Get Away with Murder moving forward?
Oh, wow. I don't know. I like to think that she's still in office and still reigning supreme. So sure, she can come and, judge a little. Any opportunity that you can find for me to work with Viola again,
okay.
I would really like you to inject into the universe. I would like us to put it all out there.
Let's put it out there.
That's fantastic, yes.
Bellamy on any Shondaland thing. Let's
talk about this. You're also in an episode of Dolly Parton's Heartstrings.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about working with Dolly.
Unbelievable. I mean, she's been an icon to me like my whole life. But she has just so many people. She's touched so many people's lives, and it's all because she tells her truth in her songs. She tells like deep, unflinching truths. And Netflix has made 8 episodes, each based on one song. Ours is Down from Dover, which is a dark little song, but it's been done so beautifully, and it's also amazing. You guys get to meet everybody, but when you meet someone like Dolly and you think, well, they've seen it all, they've done it all, but she's so excited about seeing her songs come to life like this. It's really invigorated her. She's writing new music for every episode. She's in a couple of them. She does the promos for all of them.
What was the first interaction?
Dinner, of course, my sweet agent Jacob Fenton, whom I love with all my heart. We were doing the negotiation, and at a certain point, he was wise enough to say, I know it's going to be great, but we're really just doing this to meet Dolly Parton.
to be clear.
I mean, to be honest. And so they were like, oh, come to dinner tomorrow. Yeah. And so I got to sit beside Dolly for like 3 hours at a restaurant.
We'll talk Dollywood later.
She likes her wine, right?
She was enjoying that night. She was deeply enjoying her red wine. I am a bourbon girl, but I thought if Dolly's drinking red wine, I'll drink red wine.
Okay. Can we talk about this? You mentioned you were traveling with your boyfriend, that he's a musician.
He is.
Hopping around. The two of you seem to travel a lot. Based on the gram, you're all over the place.
I know.
When he's doing his music and stuff and rehearsing and all that, what do you do in your free time?
Oh, well, I'm
Whatever you
ready
want.
to see whatever, wherever I am. You know, I mean, traveling is such a great teacher. I love it so much. And so anywhere I can go, like the next place is the most interesting place. And so Pedro Segundo is his name, and he's a wonderful human being and so good at his job and so good to me. But so while he's in rehearsal or whatever, I'm just out exploring Stockholm or,
That's
you know,
great.
Reykjavik or Paris.
Where are you going next?
Oh my gosh, you know, I'm going to come back here next week and do a job.
Oh,
that's right.
Yeah.
See you back here in New York.
What does a romantic night out look like for you two, though?
We get a lot of nights out, I'm grateful to say. So a romantic night is more a night in. He's the best cook.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, like what's the go-to dish? Like,
I mean, he's Portuguese, so he's like leans into the Portuguese, but I'm vegan, so he's like made it
makes
all
a
that
lot
way.
of
He
sense.
bought me a record player, so we have a great record collection now. So we're so grateful that we get to do a lot of out things, but in things are happy.
I like
happy
that.
night.
Yeah, and then you mentioned your new job. What is the new job?
I'm doing a pilot for Fox called Prodigal Son. Michael Sheen plays a serial killer, and I am his bitter, boozy ex-wife.
Ooh, Michael Sheen and you.
Excited for that.
I love you so much, and I can't wait for that. That is going to
It's
be
gonna be
fantastic.
fun.
Yeah.
It's
Before
gonna
you
be
go,
fun.
for International Women's Day, we've been asking people, you know, to share their women who inspire them. So, who inspires you?
Well, I'm telling you, I've met no one in my life like Bridget that I was talking to you about from Rwanda. I'm inspired so much. I got to work with Shonda forever, and working in a matriarchy is incredible. To have a friend like Kerry Washington, who is good at all things, but as equally good at being a friend. But seeing someone who had zero resource and felt they had zero power utterly transform their lives in 5 years, and the life of their family and their community. 850 eggs a day is feeding so many people in her community. You have no
incredible.
idea.
The
So it blows
ripples
my
of it are
mind.
just
She is
incredible.
the her and my hero.
When you're back in New York, let's all go out for wine and talk about Dolly Parton
I
a
like
little more,
it.
please. Bellamy, thank you for being here.
Thank you,
Good to
guys.
see you. Guys, you can keep up with all of the amazing work that CARE is doing by going to www.care.org.
All right, thanks so much for watching. Now we leave you with one last thing from another one of our favorite strong women, Kristy Metz. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Hi, I'm Kristy Metz, and this is One Last Thing. So the last TV show I binge watched was Love After Lockup.
My man is a good man. In prison.
I spent 9 hours watching every episode that was ever probably made. My last memorable encounter with a fan was my manager and I were almost run over by a semi because a girl bum rushed us to take a picture. I grabbed her, my manager grabbed me, and we saved all of our lives. The last time my castmates and I got together outside of work was Sterling, Justin, and I had a little dinner and a little drink just across the street from the studio that we work at. But that was a while ago, so hopefully a little get-together is coming up soon.